All right, welcome. We're going to do video review here. Okay, so the first question we're going to be doing is this one. So all you have to do is combine the two terms that are here. You can combine them because they both have x. Okay, so we're going to put these together. They're both positive, so they're going to add. Now, I know you guys have a huge issue with fractions, so we're going to get rid of the fractions right here by multiplying everything by the common denominator, which is 22 in this situation. Okay? So 22 times 5 is 110 divided by 11 is 10x. 22 times 1 is 22 divided by 2 is 11. So I turn those into 11x. Then 22 times 189 is 22 times 189 is 4,158. So 4,158. So now here's the problem. So again, we've gotten rid of the fractions by multiplying everything by the common denominator. What I did was 22 times 5, then divided by 11. Then I did 22 times 1 divided by 2. Then I did 22 times 189, and that gave me 4,000. Now, this is negative 189, so it's going to be negative 4,158. So now we're going to combine these terms. You can put these together because they both have x. So this is going to be 21x equals 4,158. Then we have to divide that by 21. Okay, so we're gonna divide by 21, cancel, divide by 21. So x is left on that side because 21 divided by 21 is 1. So now we're left with 1x, which is written like this. And then 4,158 divided by 21 is 198. So there's our answer. X equals 198. Now we're going to go down here. Now this is much simpler than the other one because you don't have to deal with any fractions. So here it says 8.7x's minus 1.9x's. So we're actually just going to subtract those like it says. So 8.7 minus 1.9 gives us 6.8x. So 6.8x equals 116.96. Then we have to divide both sides by 6.8. Divide by 6.8. Cancel. Divide by 6.8. So x equals 116.96 divided by 6.8, which gives me 17.2. All right. So again, we combine these like terms. That's a positive and that's a negative. So when we combine them, they subtracted. Gave us 6.8. Then we divided by 6.8 on both sides, and we got x equals 17.2. This is going to be a trend that you're going to notice in the other side. So question 5 and 6 is going to be up here. Again, we're left with a lot of fractions. Okay? We're left with a lot of fractions. Now, I don't think this has an x, so I'm going to get rid of this x. I don't think this has an x. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the x. So you're going to have things with x's and numbers that don't have x's. So before we do anything, I'm going to multiply everything to get rid of the common denominator, to get rid of the fractions. So they're all 3, so I'm going to multiply everything by 3. This is going to become 7x. That's going to become 1. That's going to become 1. Oh, no, 3 times 1 is actually 3. Sorry. That's going to become 5x. And now we're looking at this. So now we have 7x plus 1 equals 3 plus 5x. So now I want the x's on the same side. Because x, with something that doesn't have an x, you can't do anything with those. And this is the other one that we have to put. Now you have to see, you have to notice that I'm including the sign as well. Now, for this, I'm going to make a little invisible line here. Now, 7x is going to come down. 7x. Okay, it's going to stay 7x because I didn't move it. I just brought it down. Now, plus 5x is going to move all the way to the other side right here. So this plus 5x, when it crosses this line, it's going to actually turn into minus 5x. Now we have to do the other side. Now this 3 is going to stay on this side because we want the x's on one side and the numbers on the other. So 3 is left right here. Now I'm going to grab this plus 1 right here and I'm going to move it to the other side, which is going to make minus 1. All right? So 7x minus 5x is going to leave us with how many x's? 2 x's. And 3 minus 1 is going to leave us with 2. So if that was a minus 1 and I moved it over here, it would have turned into a plus 1. But because it was a plus 1, I moved it over here and it became a minus 1. So 2x equals 2. See how similar they are to the other one? Now we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals 1. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. These are just regular old numbers. If there were decimal points, you do it the same exact way. So, again, there's a 9x on this side, and over here, there's a minus 8x. I have to put those two on the same side of this line. Now, the 9x, I'm going to shift it down because I like the x's on this side. So, 9x is here. Then I'm going to move this minus 8x to the other side, which is going to make it a plus 8x. So now all my x's are on one side. All my numbers need to be on the other side. So the 34 is going to come down. And this minus 68 is going to go to the other side and become plus 68. This combines and makes 17x. And this combines and is going to make 90 plus 12, so that's going to be 102. Okay, we're going to divide by 17. Divide by 17. X equals 6. And that's it. See how the steps are similar? They're repeating over and over again. Every single 4 questions is going to add one more step. So in this one, the extra step is distributive property. So you have to do distributive property, and then when you are done, you can start solving it like the ones we just did. So the 1/3 is distributing itself to these two. So it's going to be 1/3 x, and then 1/3 times 6 is 6 over 3, which gives me 2, equals 1/2 x. 1/2 times negative 3 gives me negative 3 over 2. So now it looks like the first question from the other side. This is very, very simple. Now we just have to multiply everything by the common denominator to get rid of fractions. So we're going to multiply everything by 6. So 6 times 1 divided by 3 gives me 2x. Plus 6 times 2 gives me 12. 6 times 1 divided by 2 is going to give us 3x. And 6 times 3, which is 18, divided by 2 is going to give us negative 9. Now this looks exactly like the problem we just did. Again, the x's need to be on the same side. Okay? So this 2x is going to come down. This 3x is going to go on the other side. So it's going to become, this positive 3x is going to become a minus 3x. Okay? Then this negative 9 is going to come down because nothing's happening to it. And this plus 12 is going to turn into minus 12. So now 2x minus 3x gives me negative 1x, which is just written as negative x. Then minus 9 minus 12 gives me minus 21. Now, how do you get rid of the negative sign? Well, you change the sign, of course. So now it's x. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if you change the signs on this side, you must change the signs on the other side, so it becomes 21. So that's simple. X is 21. Okay, last one. This one has decimal points. Same thing as before. We're going to be doing 0.6 times x. That's 0.6x. Then 0.6 times 2 gives us 1.2. And then 0.55 times 2 is 1.1 x plus, that's going to be 1.1, so 1.65. All right, hopefully I've done everything correct. That's going to be 55 plus 55, 1.1. That's going to be 55. Okay, so now we're looking at all this. Again, the same rule applies. I want the x's on one side. So it's going to be, this is coming down. So it's going to be 0.6x. This is a positive. So when I move it to this side of the line, it's going to be a negative 1.1x equals, now the positive 1.65 is coming to the front, so it's positive, so I'm just going to write 1.65. Then that's a plus 1.2, so it's going to become minus 1.2. So when you subtract this from that one, so you're combining this with negative 1.1, so it's going to subtract, and you're going to get negative 0.5x equals, this one you're going to subtract, and you're going to get 0.45. So you're going to divide by negative 0.5, divide by negative 0.5, and x equals, I think that's 9. All right, let me check here. It's going to be 0.45 divided by 0.5 equals 0.9. Sorry, it's going to be 0.9. 0.9, and because one's positive and one's negative, the answer is going to be negative. So let me write it nice over here. X equals negative 0.9. And that's a review. I hope you noticed the repetitiveness of it and how simple it really is to do these. Okay? See ya.